Bwahahaha. My name is Amy2 and welcome back to Talk to Transformer. I got the computer back yesterday because the shop needed to find another video card for it because the one they had wouldn't fit. But anyway, let's see. Amy2 was looking through the files on the lab computer. This seems kind of interesting. I'm not gonna read it because it's funny. Okay. Well, it might be anyway. Amy2 is looking through the files on the lab computer and noticed the above document from the 24th of March 2010. This was the same day she went missing. Her laptop was from March 2010, and her wallet was also a year older than her claim of 10 months. Excuse me? It was also her smoking gun. Her wallet? Proving the police had searched the same area as soon as she went missing and had the same model of computer. Furthermore, there were no similarities between Alice's sneakers, calf heel size, and the pair matching the description of the footwear she had in her house. At first glance, this would be plausible. But another way to answer this is to look at Alice's shirt from the 23rd of March 2010, the night she went missing. This is also what she was wearing at the cabin. Amy2 was looking through the files on the lab computer, discovering what appeared to be Bizarro Baby walkers in storage. What? Judy was shocked, as they seemed to mimic the movement of the real girl. The following day, as the presence, Judy ordered a thorough check on Bizarro. Some of the standard tests were performed to rule out a spinal cord injury. Excuse me, what? But nothing was found. Eventually, the bit of equipment was examined by an ex-cop who had previously worked with Bizarro, but her findings were inconclusive. At this point, Nick and Judy took the matter into their own hands and started to track down the original specimen. Though there were other ex-KACs who had pursued the case for more of a pro-fesh movement. What in the world? I don't even know what this thing is anymore. The Bizarro Baby walkers, whatever that is. Amy2 is looking through the files on the lab computer when the flight attendant approached. "Miss Lee," the woman began, as she waved her hand in front of Yumi's face. "We have a matter for you in front of you." We have a matter for you in front of you. Excuse me, what? She had begun looking through various diagrams. Yumi looked down. The memory jogged as she recalled the desk. "Why don't you try and solve it?" Yumi relaxed. The response was instantaneous. The file was scrambled, her picture obscured. The page turned over and her computer searched for an answer. Why would she do this? There was no reward for solving the mystery. Besides, she was an Air China service person, and in Air China the oddity quota didn't apply to her. What is this? She picked up the file and processed. Not getting really like incredible ones like I wanted. What? Amy too was looking through the files on the lab computer. He noticed another file of what he guessed was an autopsy report. He began reading, and as he did, a young man in his late teens suddenly appeared behind him. "Hi there," the young man greeted in a cheerful manner. "I'm Juan Arc, who's missing and presumed dead." What? Why would you just pop up behind this guy and say that you're the guy who's missing and presumed dead? "The next time I get off work, I'll be going in to see the police." They're just going to visit the police. Just go there and it's like, "Hey, police! What's up, bros?" "You didn't have to come here. I had to remind you," Blake agreed. "It's okay," Juan explained. "I have friends who've been there as well." "So you saw him," Blake noted. "Did he look too much like you?" "No." "No," Juan... What is this? And this thing always makes me say that. Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly... Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly it lurched and picked up speed, jerking up and down like a yawing pinball machine. Excuse me, what? Why would a car be jerking up and down? The body of the car vibrated violently as if an invisible horn was blaring inside. "Hey!" said Bill in a rapid sing-song voice. "Would you like a soda?" To this, Moon said, "If you want a soda, then you'll have to make it quick. Here's your soda. If you don't want it, there's gonna be a price." And Bill said, "Okay." He fiddled with the dipstick. And after holding it upside down for a moment, he finally discovered that his second finger was constantly slipping out of the hole. And so he finally let go of it. Excuse me, what? What is this crap? There are a lot of innuendos in this one, and like this one, but yeah. Another one. Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly two huge explosions rocked the convenience store on South Dublin Road. Rocked the convenience store adjacent to his own. Moon, whose entire family is employed as utility laborers, was standing in line with his girlfriend when the first explosion shook the building. "It felt like I'd just been run over by a tractor." What the hell? "I felt like I'd just been run over by a tractor," he recalls. It took only seconds before another bomb exploded just behind him, next to the store's paper shredder. Next to the store's paper shredder. Yeah, that's specific. The killer was coming towards him at 200 yards per hour. What is this crap? Oh, it's so good. It's so funny. Oh, man. The killer was coming towards him at 200 yards per hour. What? Just then, the second bomb exploded, nearly shoving him and his girlfriend to the ground. But Moon remained unharmed. Just then, an all-clear sounded over the emergency speakers, signaling to the employees, customers, and other tenants that it... Oh man, that was so freaking funny. And I like how the killer was coming towards him at 200 yards per hour. And I felt like I had just been run over by a tractor. What in the world? Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly he heard a crash. She heard a noise and started to look around, only to discover that 2 people had crashed into the car, injuring their legs. So they were like not in other cars. They just ran into it, like they were walking or jogging or whatever, and they just ran into the back of the car. She called the police, and the responding officer reached into the car and pulled the 2 men out. But they crashed into the literally into the car. What? Oh man! One of the boys was found to have thrown the final dart that had dropped it on the car by looking through the rear passenger window. The officer could see it point at his leg. The boy who threw the dart was in a good mood, but the boy who threw the dart seemed not so happy with himself. I had to call this guy up and say, no, Aurora Bogassi, what, told the newspaper. Then ... This one is just given amazing results. Just, what? Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly he noticed something strange. The car started moving and the windshield was going up and down, Bullock recalled. Then it kind of just stopped. It didn't rattle and the engine was quiet. The small white figure fell from the sky and landed on Bullock's windshield. As soon as he realized what had happened, Bullock and his 2 older daughters and his 11-year-old stepson rushed to where the crashed UFO was hovering. I thought it was crashed. Why is it hovering? They also didn't expect to find the largest chunk of concrete they'd ever seen. It was almost like a plaster of Paris base. What? It was almost like a plaster of Paris base. What? That doesn't even make any sense. The windshield was completely covered in a big oval of asphalt. Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly a light jolted through his windshield. The instant the impact, his pants disappeared. The instant the impact, his pants disappeared. He had vivid memories of hearing a scream before it got darker. My mom screamed. She said I didn't have my pants on. The kid I hit got out of the car. Mr. Baumgardner said the kid was still moving. He believes he had just turned into the church parking lot and needed to get into his car. He swerved to avoid hitting any cars. He said the kid somehow opened the passenger door, side door, and pushed his way out, possibly through the roof. After finding her, Mrs. Baumgardner called the police. He recalled the officer telling him it ... That was just amazing. Just the instant the impact, his pants disappeared. And my mom screamed because she said I didn't have my pants on. What? Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly, all of a sudden, he jumped out with this knife out in his hand. Police said the 30-year-old... Oh, you almost got that one right. And a woman had a screaming match before the man pulled out the knife. There were 5 or 6 cars. They were screaming at each other. There were 5 or 6 cars. They were screaming at each other. Another witness, Jean-Pierre Troppe, was inside the gas station and said the suspect drove down a lane and got out of his car. He then approached 2 men standing on a porch and stabbed both of them, he said. The witness said the suspect was speaking in Arabic. A witness, Enis... What? A witness, Enis... That's an unfortunate name. Mekene said she saw the suspect who claimed to be a suicide bomber. He wasn't carrying a Rux. A Rux, what is that? Well, apparently Rux means a large group of people. So obviously he wasn't carrying that. Moon was fueling his car at the gas station when suddenly he heard the life-changing truth. The car didn't have any fuel, he said. But then I heard, hello, 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 hello. Then he saw a tiny man sitting on a bench in a downtown construction zone in his own backyard. This guy was probably 4 or 5 months old and couldn't even walk yet, said an inimitable Jim and Carrie Sabu. I looked and saw this tiny creature, said Jim Sabu. It was just laying there. I said, oh my god. The Sabus had purchased the globe on eBay. Jim Sabu had noticed the globe. What in the world was this? Slater was pushing Moon's car to the nearest gas station. Slater was pushing Moon's car to the nearest gas station, a mile away. When Dave became exhausted, he started walking. But he was not fast enough and had to walk 2 miles before he finally reached the station. But it was a mile away. On his way to the station, he stopped to rest. As he was getting up, he heard the voices of his friends in nearby woods. Dave tried to escape, but the woods were too large for him to run in the dark. When he could see the light of their lights, he ran to the shack of his friend Jim, and told him of the terrifying nightmare he had just been in. Jim helped him to the clearing, where he got inside. When he could see the light of their lights, Dave tried ... I like how it keeps just saying the lights of their lights. Sutter was pushing Moon's car to the nearest gas station, for which it was violating the neighborhood speed limit. What's their speed limit? 1 kilometer per hour? For good measure, Slater says, one of them reportedly filled the truck's radiator with dirt. Well, that's stupid. That's just a troll move. We pulled him out of the car, threw him to the ground, and arrested him. Oh, these are the police. Okay. He says he was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. I almost said adult with a deadly weapon. That would have still kind of made sense, but not really. And will appear in court on May 25th. We will look forward to that day when he's stopped before a judge, but we haven't seen that day yet, Slater says. I just don't think he understands the difference between a cop and a citizen. A cop is a class of people that is paid to protect and serve, whereas a citizen is just someone you're supposed to be. Well, when a cop is off work, he's technically just a citizen. Slater was pushing Moon's car to the nearest gas station. Once there, Moon got a bite to eat as Arno had made the family stop in a nearby restaurant. They ordered ice cream. Arno was starving. Soon they were all starving. They had a long and an exciting afternoon. Monday, May 2nd, 1965. Sunrise at the Balloon. A beautiful sunrise to celebrate the birth of summer. Excuse me, what? Today, the video won't play as it is not a hardware issue with the camera, but rather my 8-bit Atari ST clone. The Atari ST is from 1985, not 1965. Okay. Due to a version conflict between the programmer, Atari, and Microsoft. Excuse me, what? The programmer was unable to compile the project, which had been started on the eve of the first space shuttle launch without a version of ... What? Where is it getting this? This is the dumbest crap I've ever seen. Slater was pushing Moon's car to the nearest gas station. Moon and Smith had planned to head to the car wash when the misadventure began. Smith arrived at the car wash in his wetsuit and helmet, which meant he was doing a lot of legwork, he said. Although Moon and Smith say they never moved much while gliding over the sticky surfaces. What is this? The saggy, lacerated, and punctured tires proved no picnic. What did you drive on? Okay. Smith's left arm had swollen to the size of a baseball bat. Some arms are really that size, though. He had trouble lifting his head. It was obvious that something had gone terribly wrong. While they had used 1-ounce latex gloves that contain 12 grams of solid wax, then how are you supposed to be able to move your hands? A mixture of beeswax and beeswax. Big Boy and Buddy invented a new type of a nuclear reactor for their spaceship. Big Boy and Buddy invented a new type of nuclear reactor for their spaceship that made it possible for them to travel to other planets. They then left for other planets in the Starfleet, a galactic ship run by the various factions, but never made it into space. Buddy was shot in the arm on multiple occasions by the AI's agents, but he kept trying to get a signal off on his tricorder. Buddy is the first station chief to go to the walkway to see if there are any signs of life in his ruined starbase. If he can hear it, then he goes to the walkway and gives the signal. If the tricorder is off, he stays on the walkway and starts throwing boxes at the spheres. What? Okay, that's the best line I've ever heard. No, not really, but it's a good line, okay? Big Boy and Buddy invented a new type of nuclear reactor for their spaceship that made it possible for them to travel to other planets in mere seconds using their new technology. But when they arrived on a planet with a half-split moon, Buddy's and Spider-Man's weapons created an enormous explosion that almost destroyed the planet. With the help of a scientist, Spider-Man was able to stop the explosion and save the world from destruction. Meanwhile, after being approached by the priest, that Spider-Man and Deathlock were having an affair. What? The other heroes tracked Buddy down. After a few days of hunting the crazed scientist, Spider-Man met and had with Spider-Buddy. Buddy declared his love for Spider-Man, but when Spider... This, kind of lewd in some places, but, what in the world? Man, that was good. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna have to end this video here. If you liked it, please subscribe and go look at my other older videos. And hit the bell notification so that you can actually tell when I've uploaded one. And, goodbye.